The movie begins with a scene on an island where two men, in terrible condition, scream loudly and their voices echo across the island. Both men sit at gaming tables, and soon some guards cut off their tongues, making their condition even worse. To understand what this is, the story moves a few weeks back. A group of people travel on a bus. A man named Jude wins an online game and gets a free trip to this island. He can bring as many people as he wants, so he invites his childhood friend Andy, Andy's wife, Kate, and Andy's father, Samuel. From his own family, Jude takes his wife Heather and his younger Henry. Soon the group reaches the island, and at the hotel the staff welcomes them warmly. Later, Jude and Andy meet the senior staff. A representative from the gaming company arrives, congratulates Jude for winning the online game, and offers him a chance to play multiple rounds where he can win up to $20 million. Andy feels something is wrong and suspects a hidden danger. The most dangerous rule is that once players are tied to the table, they cannot quit the game. Andy warns Jude, but Jude is blinded by greed. The prize money attracts him more than anything else. Finally, they arrive at the gaming place. The officiator appears and announces the first round. The prize is $10,000. The rules are simple. Both players have two buttons in front of them, red and blue. If both press red, they share the prize equally. If both press blue, no one wins, and both must pay $10,000 to the company. If one presses red and the other presses blue, the blue button player gets the full prize, while the red button player loses money. The game looks simple, but Andy fears Jude will betray him. They argue, but eventually both press the red button. The host confirms that half the money is transferred into their accounts. Seeing real money, Jude becomes very happy. The host asks if they want to continue. Andy refuses, feeling danger ahead, but Jude insists on playing, convincing Andy to stay. In the next round, both players are tied to the table. The officiator announces the new rules. This time they can win money, but if they lose, they will suffer physical harm. If both press red, they get $50,000 each, but one finger of each player will be cut off. If one presses red and the other blue, the red player loses a finger and also owes $100,000, while the blue player remains safe. If both press blue, each owes $100,000 and both lose their entire hand. Jude laughs, thinking it is a joke, but Andy panics, realizing the danger. Jude convinces Andy that nothing serious will happen. They decide to press red, but at the last moment, Jude betrays Andy and presses blue. Jude's account immediately receives $100,000, but Andy's finger is cut off. Both players now realize that the officiator wasn't joking. Everything she said turns out to be true. Jude's face turns pale, and both demand to quit the game. But the officiator refuses, saying that according to the rules, they cannot leave. She reminds them that if they try to escape, they will lose their lives. The next round begins with a prize of $500,000. Now the truth comes out that a camera is recording everything, and people all over the world are watching the game. The company is earning huge amounts of money from these viewers. Andy becomes furious at Jude for betraying him earlier and pressing the blue button out of greed. The host interrupts and tells them to forget the past and press their buttons as the audience is waiting. This time both press the red button. According to the rules, money is credited to their accounts, but each of them loses one more finger. Andy has already experienced the pain, but for Jude the agony is unbearable. He screams like a madman. After a while, calms down and asks the officiator why she is doing all this. She replies that she is not doing anything on her own. She only works for a salary. It is not her business. She is just doing her job. The third round begins. This time, instead of fingers, the players must risk the lives of their loved ones. Samuel and Henry are brought in as hostages. The rules are as follows. If both press red, they win money, but both of their relatives will lose their eyes. If both press blue, both players fall into company debt, and their relatives will be killed. If one presses red and the other blue, the blue player wins all the money and also saves their relative's life, but the red player loses $100,000 and their relative is killed. Hearing this, both realize that no matter what, someone is bound to die. Andy and Jude argue fiercely. Jude insists Andy should press red, saying his father has already lived a long life, so Jude's brother deserves a chance to live. But Andy refuses, and their fight escalates. Both want to save their own family member. Finally, both press the blue button. In front of their eyes, their relatives are brutally killed, and on top of that, both fall under a debt of $1 million. Jude blames Andy for his brother's death, forgetting that his own foolishness trapped them in this deadly game in the first place. The officiator gives them a short break before announcing the next round. This round is even more dangerous because now their wives are brought forward, and the officiator declares that this time, their lives are at stake. The rules remain the same. In this round, if both press the red button, they win $5 million each, but both wives lose their tongues. If both press the blue button, both wives die. If one presses red and the other presses blue. The blue player wins the prize and also saves their partner's life. But the red player falls into $5 million of debt, and his wife is killed. Before the round begins, the women are given a chance to say their last words. Kate tells him that she loves him deeply and wants to spend the rest of her life with him if they survive. Heather, on the other hand, reveals to Jude that she is pregnant. The officiator shows no sympathy, but Jude feels happy after hearing this and tells Andy they should both press red so at least their wives survive. But once again, Jude betrays Andy and presses blue. Jude wins $5 million and saves Heather's life, while Andy watches helplessly as his wife is killed before his eyes. Broken inside, Andy loses all hope. The officiator cheerfully announces that only a little of the game is left. Andy no longer fears anything because he has nothing left to lose. The officiator then says that Jude, being his true friend, must also put his life at stake. The next round begins with the rule that if both press red, they win money, but each of them loses one eye. If one presses red and the other presses blue, the blue player wins, keeps his eye safe, while the red player loses both eyes and falls into company debt. If both press blue, the game ends and both are killed. Andy, furious at Jude, declares that he will no longer speak to him and will press only blue so that everything ends quickly. Jude tries to convince him otherwise, but Andy refuses to listen. When the round starts, despite Andy's decision, cannot bring himself to kill his friend. At the last moment, both press red. They receive money, but the hotel staff forcibly removes one eye from each of them. Both scream in unbearable pain, the same scene shown at the beginning of the film. The officiator remains unaffected, saying it is all for the entertainment of the viewers who pay huge amounts of money. The final round begins. Heather, who had tried to escape, is brought back as a hostage. Jude begs the host to spare his pregnant wife, but she ignores him. The officiator announces that this time Heather herself will play. Andy and Jude are on the same team, but only Andy can press the button. Heather stands on the opposite side with two cards, red and blue. The rules are simple. If Andy presses red and Heather shows red, all three survive and win $20 million, but each of them must sacrifice one eye. If one chooses red and the other blue, the blue player wins money and lives, while the red player is killed. If both choose blue, all three die, and the company takes all the money. Jude asks Heather to show red because this is their last chance to survive. Heather agrees, but Andy does not trust her. He laughs at Jude, knowing how cunning and greedy Heather is, marrying Jude only for money. Crying, Heather begs Andy to press red, saying she is pregnant and wants to spend her life with Jude and raise their child together. Andy softens and presses red, but at that moment, Heather reveals her true face. She wipes her tears and shows the blue card. Andy bursts into bitter laughter, realizing the betrayal, while Jude stands in shock, unable to understand why Heather deceived them. The truth is revealed. Heather was never pregnant. She lied to save herself and win the game. As a result, Andy and Jude are shot dead, while Heather wins all the money and leaves. In the end, the officiator thanks the audience and declares the game over. Some time later, a new game begins. But this time, the officiator is none other than Heather herself, now running the deadly show, playing with people's lives to earn money. And with this, the movie's story comes to an end.